Happy Tuesday. Hopefully everyone's having a glorious day. It's an overcast day here in Austin. Winter is approaching. It's now fall, I guess. As winter doesn't start until mid-December or after December. But it's a nice, cool Tuesday here in Austin. And we're going to be talking about Russia. We're talking about the Ukraine conflict. And unfortunately, there's some bystanders. And don't really know how to feel about this, but unfortunately, collateral damage happens. And you can probably tell from the title. If you've been on Twitter at all, you'll know what's happening. AP source, AP News, Associated Press. Russian missiles are crossed into Poland during strike. I mean, I don't know why they have this picture. Nor this picture. Nor this picture, because I honestly don't know what's up with all these pictures. Because I don't think it hit a building. Let's see here. Ukrainian state emergency fighters extinguish a fire at the scene of Russian shelling in Kyiv. Oh, okay, it's Kyiv. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, November 15th. So it seems like Russia's going scorch earth, going bombs away, bombs over Ukraine. Kyiv, Ukraine AP. Russia pounded Ukraine's energy facilities Tuesday with its biggest barrage of missiles yet, striking targets across the country, causing widespread blackouts. They're doing this because it's winter. They're doing this to demoralize people. Germany did this during the 1930s, 40s. It didn't turn out too well with the Germans because it caused hiding spots for the Russians as they pushed them back and abroad. Let's see here. A senior U.S. intelligence official said missiles crossed into NATO member Poland and killed 2 people. Is World War III really worth 2 Polish people? 2 Poles? And this is where I'm on the fence about. It could be an oopsie on Russia. I don't think Russia really intended to hit them, is my personal opinion. And I don't think that's a cause for Article 5 to be enacted. Now, if they keep doing it, I mean, 1 or 2 times throughout the course of the war, oopsie, they keep on doing it more frequently, then definitely want to look into it more. Second person told the Associated Press the apparent missile or Russian missile struck a site in Poland about 15 miles from the Ukrainian borders. 15 miles. That's not really a whole lot in the whole scheme of things. If confirmed, the strike will mark the first time in the war that Russian weapons have come down on a NATO country. And here I was thinking that Ukraine was going to be the red herring, was going to be the one that's going to kick off World War III using Article 5 if they were ever to get invited into the NATO alliance. I mean, that was my fear, is that once they were a NATO member, they'll do something to kick something off with Russia. Russia will respond. Article 5, World War II. Not World War II, but World War III. The Russian Defense Ministry denied being behind any strikes on the targets near the Ukrainian-Polish border and said that the statement of the photos perpetrated damage have nothing to do with Russian weapons. I guess we're about to find out. A NATO official speaking on the condition of anonymity said that the alliance was looking into reports of the strike in Poland. The U.S. National Security Council said it was also checking into the reports. The Polish government spokesman Piotr Muller confirmed that an explosion had killed 2 people and said some military units were put on alert while officials investigate. The Polish media reported that the strike took place in the area where grain was drying in however you pronounce this city. I'm not even going to try. A village near the border with Ukraine. The barrage was affected neighboring Molaba, and has reported massive power outages after the strikes knocked down a key power line that supplied the small nation. An official said the missile strikes plunged much of Ukraine into darkness and drew defiance from the president, Volodymyr Zelensky, who shook his fist and declared, "We will survive everything." You gotta be careful with Zelensky. He has a tendency to be a certain member. Let's put it that way. I don't trust him. I think he's going to be authoritarian and might bring in an empire that will rival 1930, 1940 Germany. Just something to be cautious about. As a nightly address, the Ukrainian leader characterized the report strikes in Poland as a very significant escalation that offer proof that terror is not limited by our state borders. I think it's going to come down to whether or not it was intentional or a mistake. Because I can see both scenarios. It could be Putin is testing the waters to see what we're going to do. I don't think they expected to kill anyone, but it could be putting his foot in the water or a toe in the water to see what type of response will come. Or it could be just they were bombing and Russian technology isn't as advanced as the United States is, and it steered off course. And there's also some reports I heard that Ukrainian countermeasures blew up the rocket and it detoured it onto the Poland side. So I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of theories coming around. There's a lot of reports. It's pretty much a new action, and we have to wait till the dust settles to see what exactly really happened. We need to put the terrorists in its place. The longer Russia feels impunity, the more threats there will be for everyone within the reach of the Russian missiles, Zelensky said. Russia fired at least 85 missiles, most of them aimed at the country's power facilities, and blacked out many cities, he said. Ukrainian Energy Ministry said the attack was the most massive bombardment of power facilities in nearly 9 months old Russian invasion, striking both power generation and transmission systems. I'm pretty sure this is going to be considered a war crime because you're taking out the power. A lot of these buildings rely on electricity to heat them, and it's about to be winter over there, if it's not already winter. And it gets cold over there. The minister, Herman Rosharenko, described the missile strikes as another attempt at a terrorist revenge after military and diplomatic setbacks for the Kremlin. He accused Russia of trying to cause maximum damage to our energy system on the eve of winter. The aerial assault, which resulted in at least one death in a residential building in the capital, Kyiv. Following the days of euphoria in Ukraine, sparked by one of the biggest military success, the retaking of last week southern cities Kherson. Let's see here. Ukraine's right here. Oh, it doesn't show Poland. I think Poland's like right there. And of course, you got Crimea. You got this area right here. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. The power grid was already battered by the previous attack that destroyed an estimated 40% of the country's energy infrastructure. Zelensky says that the number of Ukrainians without power had fallen from 10 million to 2 million by Tuesday evening. Russian President Vladimir Putin has not commented on the retreat of Kherson since his troops pulled out in the face of Ukrainians' offense, but the stunning scale of Tuesday's strikes spoke volume and hinted at an anger in the Kremlin. By striking the targets in the late afternoon, not long before dusk began to fall, Russian military forces rescue workers military forced rescue workers to labor in the dark and gave repair crews a scant time to assess the damage by daylight. More than a dozen regions among Lviv in the west, Kharkiv in the northeast, and other in between reported strikes and efforts by their air defense to shoot missiles down. At least a dozen regions reported power outages affecting cities. Altogether, have millions of people. Almost half of Kiev region lost power, authorities said. Zelensky warned that more strikes were possible and urged people to stay safe, seek shelter. Most of the hits were recorded in the center and the north of the country, in the capital, and situated in very difficult, said senior official Krylo, whatever that last name is. See, is anything? See here on Tuesday, U.S. President Joe Biden and Zelensky pressed fellow G20 leaders at a summit in Indonesia for robust condemnation of Russian nuclear threats and food embargoes. More discussion about a possible vote on Wednesday. Let's see here. Is anything here? Retaking is another thing. Blah 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 blah. So, like I said, it's definitely it's starting to get a little bit spicy. If it turns out that Russian missiles did hit Poland, I don't think it changes the dynamics of the war, but it definitely thickens the plot because Poland could turn around and say that their country was attacked. 2 people is 2 people too many, and they would want to retaliate against Russia and then initiate Article 5, which means that they were attacked by an aggressor, which means all of NATO forces will have to come to the defense of Poland, and of course Ukraine by proxy, kicking off World War III. That is a extreme reaction. That is like the farthest you could get to it. I think it's going to be somewhere tempered. I think the leaders are going to have to talk about and really discuss how they want to proceed forward. Because any escalation from Poland and Article 5 will mean more people are going to die. Unfortunately, because that's what war is. And it's probably going to be the end of Russia if Poland decides to initiate that and are able to convince the other NATO members to vote to initiate that. I think without the support of NATO, Poland wouldn't stand a chance or have a leg up in the fight or even be able to persuade people to do that. But we never know. I mean, we're going to have to let the dust settle. We're going to have to assess the situation and see what the best course of action is. And hopefully, my prediction that we'll be in World War III by the end of the year will be wrong. Hopefully, we do not kick off World War III. Hopefully, the United States is only going to be funding them, not sending troops there. But we do have inspectors in Ukraine, whether they're military contractors or military advisors. We do have people on the ground that are American citizens. So we don't know what's going to happen. Hopefully, this cools over. Hopefully, both Ukraine and Russia can have a ceasefire and work towards peace, even though I don't think that's likely, especially with some of Zelensky's response where he wants all of it. Pretty much wants the president, Vladimir Putin, to be removed from office before he even considers peace. But who knows? Maybe this will pressure a peace treaty. Maybe this is the catalyst for peace. Only time will tell. I can only hope. That being said, that is my video today. Leave a comment down below on what your thoughts are. And most importantly, have yourself a wonderful day, morning, or evening.